for taking your time to sit here in front of the computer or your tele, wherever you're airing this chapter. Let's call it that way. And I just want to mention something, Rainer. Thank you so much for your kind words about the podcasting and everything about my tool, guide, life, etc. But I just want to say, first of all, before continuing, that this wouldn't be happening, the podcast, without the presence every week of both of us, which are Francisco Glaria, that you did mention, and myself. Okay, I take the credit for the idea. Okay, he agrees on that. But yeah, he embarked on this, and thanks to both of us. And he's very patient as well, because you need two for a tango. So here we are, both of them, and it is 120 chapters already. It's unbelievable when you think about it.
Yeah. So Jorge, tell us, what is the origin story here? What was it that brought this idea about? I think two plus years ago we were in the middle of a pandemic, so I imagine that has something to do with it.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. It was something like, okay, we're doing things in front of the computer, just repeating words and everything, and then just suddenly I had the idea of this podcast. And I was bragging Francisco for a long time, saying, hey, why don't we do this? Oh, no, I don't want to do another thing. I don't want to worry about anything else. And I said, we only have to talk. I'll take care of everything. Don't worry. God, why did I say that? Because it's so hard, the job behind it, the editing and everything. And I had no idea. I mean, before COVID, all I knew from the computer was to look at my email, the on-off button, and that was it. Barely, that was it. And maybe navigate through some websites. That was absolutely everything. And then I had to learn how to edit. Of course, by making mistakes. It's that's the whole idea. We started in February 2021, and no, sorry, November 21, I think it was. Yeah, November, and here we are, alive and kicking.
Wonderful. So, before we get into, how you taught yourself podcasting, tell us a little bit more about Francisco, because one of the things I love about the podcast is the chemistry that you guys have, the sort of back and forth. You have very different voices. You both are obviously so well educated, and you are both talented communicators that really comes through on the podcast. So, tell us a little bit more about how you know Francisco.
Well, I met Francisco because of Rick Steves. He started working for Rick Steves like 1 or 2 years before me. And my very first meeting when I went to Edmonds, the reunion they used to make every year, we met there, actually. That's where we met. And since then, there's been a very good connection. And Francisco is a person that you only have one option with him. You only have to love him. He's so... No, seriously, he's so kind, so nice. It's not laid back in the sense of, oh, whatever. No. We discuss things, we talk, we never argue, which is a good thing, okay? And especially when we need both of us to make this a reality where it is now. And it's just perfect. He thinks about a theme, I think about a theme. Everything is perfectly accepted by both of them. Of course, we have our differences. One has one opinion, one has another opinion, but at the end, is the result of all the chapters that they're out there. But I have to add, Rainer, if you allow me, we are heard in 69 countries.
Amazing.
We are the other day, like about a couple of weeks ago, I was just, diving a little bit in web pages and everything. And I found out that actually now Spanish Loops is the podcast in English about Spain, #1 most heard outside of the United States.
Wow, that's amazing.
Worldwide. So I couldn't believe it. It was like, okay, I need to read again this because it was in English. It was my second language. So I need to read this again to see if I really understand what he's saying. Yeah, he says that. Yeah. So it's kind of scary.
That's an amazing testament to, somebody that was starting from zero, 2 years ago, and not knowing anything really about the technical work of producing a podcast and teaching yourself that. And now 2 years later, you've had this great success. You have this kind of #1 podcast about Spain going. I think that's a real testament to your hard work and to both you and Fran for the chemistry that you guys have and your ability to communicate and to teach, right? So we'll get into some of the episodes here. Jorge, first of all, tell us what you got over 120 episodes. Okay, so which one is your favorite?
Oof, my favorite one. Okay, actually, it's one topic, one thing. Is divided in 4 because, I mean, when you listen to a podcast, if it is more, we have realized if it is more than 30, 35 minutes, it could be a little bit hard just to keep the people, listening to the same chapter. So the theme is the Muslim domination in Spain. That it was about 800 years. So we have to divide that in 4 different chapters. Okay.
Now, we have that slide queued up, I think, don't we there, Jorge?
Yeah, we do. Let me see. Okay. Well, this is the photo of the presentation. All right. There you go. Spanish loops. And here you are. There you see. So it's since the year 711 until 1492, almost 800 years. So we have to divide that in 4. So episode 46 that you see there is #1 of that series of 4. It's 47, 48, and 49. So we had to divide that one. And it was, we had several emails because we have our email just for Spanish Loops, which is SpanishLoops@gmail.com. And there is a lot of people that they really said, wow, that is a piece of history, and we were really, really proud of that. We were very, very proud of that, yeah.
And then, so that's a 4-part series, you said. So, right. So what I love here is that, this one is about 40 minutes. So, you can listen to it in the car, you can listen to it on a walk. But of course, this is a topic that, this is an important topic. And so you guys are going into quite a bit of depth with a 4-part series, right? Well,
don't forget, Rainer, this is part of Spanish history, and Francisco and I, there is a few years of difference, and I'm the older of both of us, but we had the same kind of education. So that the Muslim domination in Spain was part of our history when we were kids at school. So in a way, it was part of our growing up education. So but besides that, of course, if you had to divide that in 4 different chapters, you have to dive very much into some specific things and topics that led from one thing to another.
Right. And then obviously this time period is important to your tour in the south of Spain.
Of course, because the Arabic domination, I mean, it's very present in I'm not going to say in the entire Iberian Peninsula, but mainly, let's say, from Madrid, which is in the heart of the Iberian Peninsula to the south. Okay, and also, especially in Andalusia, which there is a lot of presence in an everyday life, like way of cooking, even the constructions, absolutely everything. I mean, it's just, I'm not going to say it's like Morocco, but the Arab population that is quite large in the south of Spain, they are very comfortable because of the climatology is very similar, and also the way of cooking, the way of living. We are outdoors people, so they just love it.
Yeah. Well, certainly the Iberian Peninsula, the south of Spain, is a cultural bridge to Morocco and Africa in that time period. And so, I do tours in Morocco, so I'm very much interested in this connection, and I encourage everybody to explore this part of the world. So, Jorge, tell us, which is the episode that was the most popular? Which one has gotten the most attention so far?
Well, actually, it is one called Spain and Hemingway, a love story. And I think, do we have a slide? Yeah, here it is. A love affair. But let me tell you one thing. For a long time, the most heard and popular episode of Spanish Loops was chapter number one, which is, to me, it is embarrassing. If you if
It's
you listen to that one and you listen to these last few ones, you're gonna. I mean, it doesn't even look at the same people talking, the same editing, exactly nothing. I mean, it's two different worlds, okay? But considering that Hemingway's chapter is only 2 months old, now is the most heard one. It has been around. It has had around 600 plays in all different platforms only in 2 months. That for me is like witchery, to be honest. Okay, it's
right.
like what? Well, yeah, that's the most popular one apparently right now. Yeah.
And so real quick, what is Hemingway's story in Spain? I mean, where was he?
Well, he lived in Madrid. He lived in Pamplona, and then initially he was in France, and then some artists in France told him, "Hey, you have to go to Pamplona," and actually, Pamplona was his second home for the rest of his life, and he was the one who placed Pamplona in the world map of the running of the bulls. It's a little bit controversial, these topics, okay, but he loved, and we have to accept that he loved the bullfighting world around it. And Pamplona is one of the hearts of Spain, where the bullfightings and the running of the bulls, which is so famous every year in July. So that is mainly the big thing that attracted Hemingway to Spain, and that is in that chapter that is now on the screen.
Right. Yeah. And so we should mention that Fran is also from Pamplona, and so
Pamplona,
yeah, an important topic for both of you guys. And yeah, we have to admit, despite personal opinions, that this is something that is hugely important to the culture.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I'm in favor of bullfighting, but I have to accept it because it's part of my culture. So I always try to find the balance to let people understand that being part so important of culture of a country, whether you accept it or not, I better say whether you like it or not, you have to accept it because that's the way it is. That's
Right.
that's life. That's how we are nowadays.
Right. And so you must, this is a topic obviously that you've covered elsewhere in the podcast lineup, bullfighting. So, um, folks can search on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I think there's a couple of others where they can find Spanish Loops. Is that right?
I have to tell you, using every platform of podcast, all of them, anyone.
Folks can peruse the episodes there and listen to what interests them most. So, Jorge, which is the episode? Is there an episode that presented a technical challenge, or one where you really kind of had to overcome, a learning curve? Which one
Yeah,
taught you the most?
I would say the first few ones, not only one, because as I said to you, if you hear the first one, it's like these are two kids just playing, but is you learn about making mistakes. And I was sitting here where I am now, in front of the computer with the editing program in front of me, and just I bet if I had a knife by my side, I would cut commit suicide because it was like, why is this happening to me? Why doesn't it go the way I want to? But you learn about making your own, or just repairing your own mistakes. And the technical challenge was that, especially the voices, and also trying to find free copyright music as well. That's a big challenge, and insert, and when you have to do the pauses and everything. Yeah, it's the whole thing. Now, of course, we do have loads of programs that they are over there already recorded, and they have to be edited for future. We have like a little list, and depending on the date, we release one because of, I don't know, maybe Women's Day. So we have one that we did last year, but we did it with a little time in advance just to have it there in case that anything happens. And also we have to cover our back. Don't forget that from late March is the peak season of touring, and we are away. So everything has to be ready while we're away to be released on time to every Wednesdays when normally is released a chapter of Spanish loops. That's the big technical challenge, editing in general, and also placing it up there just to be released on the date specified on that cloud.
So walk us through here briefly. How do you create an episode? What is the basic process? I mean, Francisco lives in Pamplona, so you guys are in different places. How do you do that?
We meet by Zoom or via Zoom, because we found that Zoom has a very good audio quality, and it gives you the final processing of the recording in separate tracks, video and audio. Okay, and besides that, we all have ours, and these, that, so all that has to be edited as well, and it's much clearer for me and visually to see when I am going to open my mouth to say something after a filling word, like look, that little gesture visually for me is very helpful to cut there and put it together and make a sentence that probably lasts like about 15 seconds, make it shorter for about 7 seconds, and it looks like or sounds like a entire sentence.
Yeah, that's always amazing to me how editing can make people's conversation, can make their dialogue sound just perfect. And we could probably use some of that help on this live stream right here.
I mean, that's why when there is something live, like now, I freak out. I totally freak out because you don't have that tool of editing. It's the way it goes. So we have done like about 3 or 4 live streaming on Spanish Loops, especially the 100th anniversary. Frank was somewhere touring, and I was somewhere in the south as well touring, and we connected and we just broadcasted that episode the way it went out, and didn't go out very, very bad, but it's there. It's episode number 100 because it's the first 100 episode, right? The first centennial or centenary, or how do you call it? The first centenary. Yeah. Anyway, it's really.
Sorry, I was just going to ask, do you guys do you record several episodes in a row and then take a break, or?
We have episodes already recorded for the whole year, this year.
Wow. Okay, so when you produce them, though, do you do them all together at once, or do you do them 1 or 2 a week, or what's your schedule?
Well, no, obviously, I mean, if I have like about 2 or 3 days, I've got not much to do regarding work, like now is the low season.
Yeah.
I just try to do my shopping for a week, and then for 3-4 days in a row, I'm here sitting, editing episode after episode. We have our intros ready, we have the outros ready, we have the music, the symphony, we have the music prepared, absolutely everything. And then to me right now, it's like a routine. I know how to do it. So I might edit one episode in about maybe 3 hours. But there are some episodes that when we were recording it, we lean over the microphone a little bit more, and we need to make it, it's more dense to edit that kind of episode, because we jump from one topic to another, but they are linked at the end. And so we need to play with it a little bit. And of course, every time that I finish the editing, I send Francisco the day before the chapter to see if he likes it or not. And if there is something that he doesn't like, I agree with it, I just edit the thing, and then there it goes.
Amazing. Yeah, do you guys work from a kind of dialogue? Do you write out the dialogue? Do you have an outline? Because it sounds, when you listen to it, it sounds so polished. It sounds like you've practiced it because it's perfect. But I have a sense that that's because of the editing that you do. So when you start a podcast and you're talking about a topic, how do you organize what you're going to discuss?
Okay, the topic is there. Let's say the Muslim domination, right? So we know what we're going to talk about, but we just start the conversation. And
Wow.
whenever one thinks that has to jump into the lines that the other is saying, we just jump in. We just say, hey, Francisco, but what about this? You mentioned before this, or he says, but Jorge, wait a minute, hold on, don't run so fast. You said before this, and now you're talking about this other thing. But that is totally improvised. We don't have a script at all. We don't have
Amazing.
a script. No, we just talk, and that's why editing at the beginning was really really hard. But now, just by looking at, in an audio thing, you see the little waves, the line, the timeline. I know perfectly when I'm going to say, I know the curve. So I go there and I just cut it. I
Wow.
just know exactly by the shape of the curve, I just cut it because I know it's a fitting word. You know?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
I, one thing I just want to say, Rainer, if you don't mind, because of this editing thing on video, excuse me, just converting it into audio, which is another process as well. That led me to create my YouTube channel, cultural channel, under Traveling with Jorge, and my cooking channel, No
yeah,
Land for Lazy Chefs. That
yeah,
I just wanted to mention that.
yeah. No Land for Lazy Chefs is going to make an appearance in March on our schedule. We're going to do a couple of cooking classes with Jorge. Jorge's an amazing cook, and he's done live stream demonstrations from his kitchen, and it's a lot of fun. So I think we're going to be talking about paella and a version of paella that's made with pasta noodles.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
so
do
we've
that.
got that coming up. But look for that, folks, on the schedule in March. That'll be a lot of fun. There'll be a different perspective in the background since we'll be literally in the kitchen. So
Mhm.
Jorge, tell us, is there an episode that has a special place in your heart that is your emotional favorite?
Yeah, there is actually there is how can I say? Well, if my followers in my social media as Traveling with Jorge or Jorge Román, they almost everybody knows that my mother was blind when I was born, and there are two chapters. That one is really emotional to me. Just let me see if I can find. Oh, this is the premiere episode. You see, that's the one I told you that was the most embarrassing one. So there you are. But well, this is before. Let's leave it like that. Well, episode number 40 on season one. It talks about organization in Spain that it was created in the early 50s only for blind people. My mother she became blind, or she got blind when she had three babies, 5, 4, and 2 years old, my siblings. And then later on, I just appeared 12 years later. And well, but anyway, she was working for that organization selling lottery tickets. So that episode, the one I told you, which is number 40, is just about that organization. But then in season two, brainstorming Frank and I about topics, I cannot remember who of both of us said, hey, why don't we interview each other without letting you know what I'm going to ask? And then I said, oh, okay. Or he said, okay. I cannot remember really. It's been so many. And then season two number 19, it's me. The previous one is France. But in my one, for some reason, which I still don't know, I feel a little bit embarrassed. I opened my heart, and I talk a lot about my young years, my very young years when I was a kid, growing up with my mother blind, and then in my teens. I don't want to make any spoiler. Many things happened in my personal life and also in the political life of Spain. I lived all the changes that was happening in Spain, Franco dying, many things. So if you really want to know more deeply about me, that is a chapter you have to go, and it has a really place in my heart because my mother is in that chapter all the time.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Jorge, I just have to say, it's so inspiring to see you create this podcast and to just have a forum to talk about all these topics that you care so deeply about, and to share about your mother, to share about your family and all of your experiences. And we can't always be on tour as much as maybe we would like, but in a way, the podcast is a tour. It's more than a tour, because you're talking about things that you couldn't possibly cover that amount of material, right? Even on a tour, at a certain point you have to go and you have to eat and you have to do other things. So just so cool to see you evolve in this way, and inspire other folks to take on new endeavors, technical challenges with computers, technology, and everything.
About it, you know how I call that right now, and everybody here that is listening right now. I called in those days, when the early days, getting the flat ass syndrome, which is sitting here for about 10, 12 hours in a row, and well, but anyway, I don't know if it's going to sound pretentious or not. I don't care. But I'm really proud of myself about what I have achieved, not to everybody out there, to myself. Just being able to do what I'm doing with the podcasting and video casting as well, and also my cultural and cooking channel. And also, yesterday I arrived from the south of Spain because I have gone to get fresh material. And I've been all around South Spain, and there's going to be many videos coming up soon in YouTube. By the way, guys, if you Google traveling with Jorge, just like that, everything will pop up in Google. Okay, my YouTube, my Instagram, my Twitter. I had to make an account in TikTok. But
yeah.
Well, you know what? TikTok, they are for young generations, but those people are those who are going to travel if they can in a not so far away future. So there's a way to connect.
Yeah, it's an important way to connect for sure. But I do appreciate the long form media of podcasting that allows you to talk about these topics in depth. I think that is long form. Anything is kind of it seems increasingly missing from our world, and so that it still exists here, thanks to you, with the English language discussion of Spain is really great. And hey, everybody, I think, understands everybody has felt the cringe of hearing yourself or seeing yourself do something for the first time long ago, after you've had some success in evolving and learning and getting better. I think all of us here on this discussion today have probably felt that feeling before. And let's just say that it's a testament to the progress that you've made and the success that you've had with this. So Jorge, from all of us at Guided By, you are an inspiration to us, and thank you so much for doing this. We always look forward to your weekly episodes, and I really hope folks will get out there and subscribe on whatever podcast.
Yeah, it helps a lot. I have no idea how much it helps when people subscribe either to your YouTube or the podcast. But I just want to mention again, Francisco Glaria is the 50% of Spanish loops. I'm the other 50%. So it's not just one person work. I just want to insist on that. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And Fran is an amazing voice, an incredible talent. We would love to work with him more. And folks should definitely check out Fran's work in Pamplona. He's a guide. He offers tours as well. And if you're lucky enough, he's a very busy guy, but if you're lucky enough to have Fran as your guide anywhere in Spain, but especially in Pamplona, his hometown, that is a treat. So
but he does the Camino de Santiago as well. He does the Basque history. So yeah, he has several things on his agenda. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you've got episodes on all those topics, the Camino,
Oh yeah,
obviously.
absolutely. Yeah.
Pamplona.
Spanish loops. The concept of the name Spanish loops is that don't forget that Spain was the very first global empire. I'm not saying that with proud because what is there was a lot of blood behind that. Okay, but it's history, and that's the world as it is today. So Spain, believe it or not, have had a lot of influence in the world history in many places, from I don't know, from show business to well, there was the day that it was signed the Constitution in the United States. There was a basque there in front of the entire committee. So there is so many details that Spain is linked to the United States and the entire American continent that we thought that there is an endless list there to uh, provide information to try not. I mean, it would be very pretentious of me to call myself a teacher, but if I just transmit some information and you are willing to listen to it, why not? It's there. So
I have no hesitation in calling you a teacher, Jorge. You are absolutely a teacher. Yeah, for sure.
thanks a
So,
lot.
yeah, so okay, so you have an episode about your Essence of Southern Spain tour in Andalusia.
Correct. That is episode number 15, I think it is. Yeah.
And I think we have a slide for that.
Do we?
So, do we not? Well,
Okay. No, we don't.
there we
Yes,
go.
here it is. It is. Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, listen, why don't you do a brief overview? I'll remind folks that we've got Jorge's full presentation on his tour posted to his guide page on guidedby.com. So you can go back and watch that. It's about 20 minutes or so. And for now, though, Jorge, why don't you just give us a brief run through of the tour, and you can talk about how it connects with your podcast, if you like.
Rainer, you're telling you're a tour guide. You're telling another tour guide to be brief.
I know
Really?
it never works. I know. I try.
Okay, I'm gonna try my best. So here we go. Here you are. That's the slide for the episode, but here is the map of the Spain, not the Iberian Peninsula, because there is a portion there that's missing, which is Portugal on the left. But anyway, we have 4 nights in Granada and then 5 nights in Sevilla. But on the way we're moving, we are going to my hometown, my birthplace, which is Malaga. That's where we start, in Granada. And of course, once we get there, we're going to give you a walk around in the neighborhood, just to, orientation walk. This photo is what's really funny. Seriously, I was literally leaning on a street lamp, just waiting for that bird to fly away from Christopher Columbus' head. So, anyway, I just thought it was funny. This represents the moment that Isabel from Castilla, once married to Ferdinand of Aragon, and Christopher Columbus, after the conquering of the last bastion of the Muslims in the Kingdom of Granada, they signed the agreement. So there is no written evidence that there was a bird, that day. But anyway, I just thought it was funny. So on the stroll, we're gonna go up to the famous mirador of or lookout or point of view, which is called Saint Nicholas. Look at the beautiful sunset, and this is what you will see from the Saint Nicholas. That photo is absolutely fantastic. All photos that you're going to see here are taken by me, all of them. And, well, we're having dinner with that view. That's where we're going to be. So the following day, we go inside of the Alhambra to see the palaces. There's a complex of several palaces. And probably the most photographed part is this patio of the lions. Then the following day, we are going to go to the mountains, the Sierra Nevada mountains, Alpujarras, the green land. It's an Arabic word. If you want to know more about that, join my tour. But here you can see how life goes on a different path. You can see this gentleman over there just watering those beautiful flowers. The photo on the right hand side corner to the bottom is a pastry shop. It's a bakery. So Look at that. It's totally different. Then the following day, I'm showing you again this photo. It's not I'm going backwards because we are visiting the Royal Chapel where the Catholic monarchs are buried now. So that is the entrance. That door that you see at the end is the entrance. And you see the gentleman in the blue sweater to the right. That is the exit of the Royal Chapel. Then we are moving to Malaga the day after. Instead of going directly to Sevilla, we're going to go down to the Mediterranean and drive parallel, and then we go to Malaga. And in Malaga, we're going to go to this viewpoint by the Arabic castle, which is called Gibraltar. Okay, and I mean, when I see this photo, I just get the goosebumps. Look at the cathedral to the right. It's only one tower, but if you have a look in detail to the left from that finished tower, there is one that is unfinished. So that's why it's called the one-armed cathedral, because the other tower is not finished. And just walking by one of the backbone streets, we can see the lighthouse of Malaga, the entrance, the former entrance of the city, which now is the market. And inside of the market, besides all the products, fresh products that they sell, you will see these beautiful stained glass windows that shows in a very quick glance the history of Malaga. You see the cathedral already finished, and then you see the boats that they are very close to the cathedral. But there is a little detail just above the boat. You can see like a horseshoe shape. That one, that is the gate that we have seen here before. So the history of Malaga is represented in that huge stained glass window. It has been renovated and open now for about maybe 6-7 years after a long time of working. And it is a lot of fun because it has bars inside that you can buy the fresh products and they cook it for you. Okay, streets of Malaga. We're visiting the Picasso Museum, the birthplace of the great artist. And this is at night. Obviously, we're not staying at night in Malaga, but this is the viewpoint that I went to take the photo that I showed you earlier. Is the Arabic castle, as I said, called Gibraltar. Okay, we're moving to Sevilla, and in Sevilla, we're going to see. You have two photos here. This is, just a walk around in the neighborhood. The cathedral that you see on the left-hand side is the tower. That is the remains of the great mosque that used to be in Sevilla. The only remains is just the tower. They added more floors just for the bells, but the rest is just unbelievable. Actually, it is the largest Gothic cathedral in the whole world. To the right, one of the beautiful corners with the orange blossoms, but those oranges, they are sour. So that's why they are on the trees. They collect them to make jam. And we visit the cathedral, of course. This is from another point of view. Once we finish the cathedral, the day after, we go to Cadiz. And then in Cadiz, look at that, how beautiful that is on the Atlantic side. So Andalusia, we are so lucky that it is facing the Atlantic and the Mediterranean, and the border, let's say, both oceans, the bodies of water, is the Strait of Gibraltar, but that's another story. This is the view of Cadiz. Beautiful light, absolutely fantastic. Lots of history, and the oldest city in Europe, founded by the Phoenicians 3,000 years ago. And it was called Gadir. The Phoenicians, they used to be where more or less now is Lebanon, Israel, the area, and they dare to sail the Mediterranean, and that's where they established. It's in the southwest of the Iberian Peninsula. The following day, we go to Cordoba. Let me tell you that we are going back every day to sleep in the same places, all right? When we're in Granada, we go back and forwards, it's day trips. And then while in Sevilla, the same. So while in Cordoba, of course, we're going to see the Mosque Cathedral. The Mosque Cathedral sounds a little bit weird, but it has a lot of history behind. As I said, not going to make any spoiler. This is another photo I took. I'm very proud of. This is another one as well. And once you get out of the cathedral, this is the view that you have, which is the former patio of the ablutions. Muslims, they had to go 5 times every day to pray, and they had to wash themselves before. And they conserved the tower as well, like they did in Sevilla's cathedral, but this one is separated. So it's they added also a couple of floors for the bells, but the I would say 2/3 of the tower is the original Arabic tower where someone used to go up every day, 5 times, just to call for praise. Okay, we return to Sevilla. This is the lighthouse of Sevilla called Torre del Oro, the Golden Tower, just because of the color of the stone. And also in the old days, the mini tower on top of the tower used to be covered by yellow tiles. Let's not forget that the city of Sevilla is navigable since the Romans. So that means more than 2,000 years ago. So the former port, that was the entrance of the former port. But there was an earthquake in Lisbon in 1755 that also affected Sevilla. But anyway, that's another long story. I'm just recapping here. And we are visiting as well the Alcázar. The Alcázar means the royal fortress or royal residency, castle. It's like a compendium of all those words. And it's the oldest still working royal palace in Europe since the mid 1200s. And as I was saying, look at that. We will have that kind of little surprise now and again, just getting into places. Uh, Tapas style. Look, in many places, like for instance in Granada, when you order something to drink, like the photo on the left hand side, they give you the food for free. In some others they don't, and it's the photo on the right hand side. That one is from Malaga, and there is a glass of vermouth on the right hand side, a glass of a chili sweet wine, and some brochettes of fish and mussels. Then, of course, my beloved Iberian ham with a good red wine. That is, I mean, I cannot go in any live stream without talking about the ham. And here, let me see how I play this. Wait a second. Look, this is.
Adelita, por Dios te lo ruego, que por mí no vayas a llorar. Si Adelita quisiera ser mi esposa, si Alaya fuera mi mujer, le compraría un vestido de seda para llevarla a bailar al pueblo.
Guys, I have to tell you something about this last clip. I was having my late lunch, early dinner, because I mean, we have very specific timing for our dinners and lunches in Spain. We have lunch from 2 onwards p.m. and dinner from 9:30, sometimes even 10 p.m. So I was in Sevilla, and I was in a restaurant just having lunch with a friend, and then I heard them from the outside. And you know what I did? I just grabbed a 10 euros money. And I just went to them and I said to one of them, look, keep that and sing 30 seconds just for me, just for me. Okay. So that's why I got that clip. And I thought it was kind of funny just to have that one done. Anyway, so as I was saying, give it a second. Okay. Besides the tapas, we have a beautiful cuisine here. This is, I don't know how you call that kind of presentation, but anyway, it's just raw tomatoes, beautiful ones with tuna fish on top, and red peppers, roasted red peppers on top of it. The gastronomy in the south, by all means, is based on seafood, shellfish. We also have meat, by all means, but hey, whenever you go to one place, to me, one of the eyes-opening things is to try the local gastronomy. And this is, another thing that we should keep in mind. And of course, saying that, we need to toast. We need to toast every time that we do. Let me see what's happening here. Oh, yes. And now, just to finish, let me just show you this overview of the Cathedral of Sevilla with a little surprise. With a little surprise at the end. Okay, I will be right back. It takes just over a minute. As Tara was telling you, we've seen the body of the cathedral. Look at the amount of people in the streets. That was right 2 days ago. That's the Bishop's Palace. Everything pedestrian friendly. No worries about cars. Only services are allowed in the morning.
Well, guys, this is how I do my recordings with this wonderful little machine. This is how I do my videos, just to send it to you on my YouTube channel, my Facebook, my Instagram, and absolutely everything. So there you see, traveling with Jorge, doing research, documentaries, and this is my equipment, just a cell phone. So I hope you enjoy everything I do, and thank you so much for following me. I will see you in my next one. Bye bye. Adios, chicos. I'm gonna continue. Okay, bye.
Oops, sorry. That's me in Toledo, and that is again the photo of Francisco and myself. And what it says, the Spanish Luz Podcast, Season 1, Episode 15, is where it explains the entire tour. Everything that you have seen now in images is the description of the tour in that episode. And I think we are done. There you are. This is my contact, my webpage, my email, and the dates are already released over there. And well, Rainer, I don't know if you have any questions now or anyone. I hope it wasn't too slow or too.
No, it was great. It was great, Jorge. Fantastic. I love your tour. It just seems like such an elegant balance between, the big sites. Of course, you've been to the Alhambra many, many times. So like going to the Alhambra with Jorge means that, you've got somebody who knows how to manage around the crowds, knows how to get to the best places, and knows how to kind of go deep, obviously, on that experience. But then, then you're driving off into the Alpujarras, which is, is not a place that usually people are familiar with. And you're going and visiting these little tiny villages. These are places that are special to Jorge. So you are only going to get this version of this really interesting region of southern Spain, way up in the mountains with these whitewashed villages. You go to his hometown. So he's taking you to the place where he grew up. He's taking you literally right into the band playing in the square.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just adding to what I said on that little clip that I was appearing myself there, I was going to tell you that this is my semi-professional camera that I do my videos together with my semi-professional, very compact camera that can make clips as well. And together with the phone, the three things in three different iPods from my kitchen is when I do my kitchen classes, But anyway, this is my kitchen. Every time I try to record something, it takes me ages just to set up, including the lights and everything. So
awesome. We are definitely looking forward to those cooking classes.